Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to the Patchwork scenario for Railway Empire Germany DLC. Let's just put in a supply tower on the route here because it's a very long run and our trains, as you can see, are running slow. There we go. Do I need a supply tower on here? No, because it's going into the maintenance station. Last time out we were working on improving some of our cities a bit. Still getting some slowdown because of the amount of stuff we've got going on screen. I have noticed that this particular DLC, because it's such a large playing area, does struggle to keep up at times. And this is on a Pro, so it might possibly be even worse on the standard console, I'm not too sure. Perhaps if anyone's playing on a regular PS4, they can let me know in the comments. I'll be curious to see if there is a difference. We need to get cities up to a population of 120,000, as you can see. Posen, almost there. Just needs a little bit more. So what do we need here? Well, we need salt. We can see that straight away as for our particular industry. And looking to see what else we need to get in there. Some alcohol would be a good thing to try and get in there as well. Oh, looks like some salt has just arrived. Okay, that's good. We have more locos running without supplies. That was about to hit a supply tower, so I'm not worried about that one. Got a breakdown over there. Following the exclamation points, I think those are the three that we know about, aren't they? Up here. Oh no, these are different ones. Okay, so they're about to hit supply towers as well, so again, not worried about that one. And that's the last one of those three up there. Again, about to hit the supply tower, so not worried about that. Got a train or two over here that are not getting goods. Now, which trains are these? Byhole to Brandenburg. Ah, this is the salt train. Okay. And what was the other one? Is that also a salt train as well? It is. Okay, so we've got too many of those trains. So let's get rid of one of them. Let's get rid of this one here. Yeah, there you can see a massive abundance of salt, and we're already producing at a pretty decent rate in terms of the meat there, so we don't need to speed that up just yet. What are the products did we need? We needed to get beer into Posen, didn't we? So let's check our freight connection. Well, Posen has grown, I just saw that. Between Cottbus and Posen. How many trains do we have? Actually, this train here, is this an express train? No, it's automatic. So, Posen wants beer. Are we not producing beer? No, we're not producing beer. Okay, we need to produce at a higher rate. So we'll buy out the brewery and then we'll upgrade it. We're only producing 2.4 units of beer. And my guess is that only barely covers the actual city demand for beer. There you can see the beer. I might actually pull up R2 to show you. L2, sorry. You can see that the weekly demand here for beer in Cottbus is actually 3.2. So we've got a demand higher than we're actually producing. That's why we're getting the upgrades. That's why we're not getting any surplus to then ship out to any other cities. So that definitely needs to be improved. Dairy. Again, I'm guessing we're not producing enough dairy. Oh, I just demolished the dairy farm. Let's put that back in. Wrong button there. So, let's see. Yeah, producing 0.8 per week at the moment. We need to expand that a couple of times. And if we actually take a look at the demand, again you can see 1.2 units of cheese needed, or cartloads of cheese needed per week. We were only producing 0.8, now we're up to 3.2, so we'll have some surplus which will then be able to export and help grow other cities. We do need to make sure though that we have got enough dairy going in as a result, so let's check how many dairy trains we have running. We have 2. I'm going to add in a third one because that's quite a long run. That'll make sure that we are A, meeting the demand and surpassing the demand in the city, and B, creating product that we can export. So let's check we've got enough hops coming in. Let's see, where are the hops coming from? The hops are coming from over here. Now, how many trains do we have running in from here? 4. Might not be enough. What's the output over here? It's only level 2. Yeah, so we're going to need to purchase this. Again, these are very expensive purchases, you know, but we're so far advanced in our economic model that, you know, 1.5 million is nothing. We can afford to just drop that instantly. And we're going to upgrade that. Let's see, that's 33 units a week. Do I need to go another level on top of that as well? We need 4.8 per week just to make the beer. What's the demand? 3.4. Yeah, I think we'll add another train in there. Possibly. Let's just see how we're coping. 10 units available. This is the other thing as well. It's not just a question of how many units are available, you know, created per week, but how regularly those are being, you know, picked up. So you could have just, you know, 14 units being produced every week, but if the journey is really long, then one train's going to get there, drop those off, get back, and there's going to be a full load of 14 units to select from next time you get back. If you've got 2 trains, then obviously you're getting through that supply twice as fast. If you've got a product that is really, really close to your city, and you're only producing, say, 14 units, one train's going to empty that supply almost immediately. So you're going to need to be able to produce at a faster rate. Even if you don't need to produce 33 units a week, if you've got a very short distance, you need to be producing fast enough that your train will have a full load every time it gets back to collect and then take to the city. And if you're not producing at a fast enough rate, whether you need the full total or not, then you're going to end up with trains that are partially loaded or not loaded at all. As you've seen, we have had that problem over here, where we've got a train here that's running in. Now, this is either one of two things. It's either the train itself is not getting any product to collect, or more likely the city is not going through the product quickly enough. In this case, you know, we know that the city is demanding that product regularly, so let's see, we've got a slow train there. Again, we've got our supply tower just there. Not too worried about that. How's Poston coming along? Now we're out of salt over here, so we definitely need to improve the amount of salt being delivered into Poston. Now, where was the salt coming from? I think it's coming from down here, wasn't it? So we've got 2 trains running to Warehouse 3, which is here, and then salt is being distributed out from this location. Now, that's not enough. It's nowhere near enough. So what's our production rate of salt? We've got plenty of salt available, and now that we've got rid of a train that was heading out to Brandenburg, we have reduced some of the supply being taken there. We are going to need more trains shipping salt to the warehouse, though, because it's not just Poston that's going to be consuming that salt. It's going to be other cities in the nearby area if they're high enough. So Cottbus should have a demand for salt. It does. It wants 1.3 units a week. The bigger the city, the more they will stockpile before they go, we've got more than enough, thank you very much, as well. So you might find that a lot of that product gets taken to somewhere that is not the intended place for it to be delivered. Right, so we're kind of working on this. Our meat industry is fine. Our distillery is okay, but it's not producing enough. Again, let's take a look. There's a demand for 1.2 units a week, or 1.2 cartloads a week, and we're producing less than that. So we need to expand the industry. That's going to give us a little bit of surplus, but not much. Where's our fruit supply? How far is the fruit having to come from? Up here. Right, let's expand this again. And again, that way it's a commodity that we can export to nearby cities, which will help grow those other cities as well. We have 3 trains. They're all fully loaded, but it's a long run. So it's that long period once those 3 trains get in, but then running all the way back there, picking up a load, running all the way back there. We need more trains, and we need to stagger them on the route. We're also going to need to improve how fast this is being filled up, because the more trains we add in, it's just automatically upgraded to level 2 there before we purchased it. So maybe we don't actually need to buy that. We can just leave it as is. Let's get 2 more trains running. And now we've got trains at either end of the route. So we've got trains pulling in here and trains leaving here at the same time. So they're about halfway along the route each. So stuff's being loaded as other stuff is being unloaded. And then vice versa. When the unloaded trains get back to fill up, the other trains at the other end of the route have now reached the city and are unloading. There's a constant feed of fruit rather than a spurt of fruit here, a long pause, and then another spurt of fruit being delivered there. Oh, one of our cities has dwindled. Which city is that? Is it Essen? Essen needs to be improved. I don't think it was Essen. Which city dwindled? Ah, there we go. There's the symbol. Okay, it's Freiburg. I'm not too worried about Freiburg at this stage. Kind of using Freiburg simply as a way to try and grow other cities a little bit. What are they struggling for? No meat. No meat, no potatoes, no wood. No alcohol, no sauerkraut. So there's quite a lot of commodities. That's why their growth rate is dipping quite a bit. We should be producing goods in Stuttgart. Are we not producing fast enough? No, we're not. Look at that. We need to expand our meat industry. We're not producing enough meat. I've got 36.2 units of pigs waiting to be worked on. So that'll improve the pig breeding rate, or the pig consumption rate. So we should produce meat faster, which means we can ship that back out down here to Freiburg as part of our good transporting. You can see there we've got a couple of different trains that are running back and forth. That's enough for now. There to Karlsruhe. From Stuttgart we should have a couple of trains running. Yes, we do. 1, 2, 3. You can see that we are loading up on meat to take in that way, so that's good. I'll keep that city going. We could do with some grain. Do we have grain being delivered into Stuttgart from here? We do. Don't have anything going into Freiburg, I don't think. Or did we have Freiburg? No. What we could do is we could run a track out the back of the station around the corner. Let's do that. Let's get that connected. There. Not too worried about all these bridges. You know, I'm at a point now where money is not an issue at all. Even the money that we spent since we started this particular episode has already been replaced with more on top, so you know, financially we have no concerns whatsoever at this point. There we go. Let's get our train up and running. See that slowdown starting to affect us again. And we'll clone that train, get 2 of them running. Got 3 sets of points to spend. What can we buy? Anything? Have we cleared out that entire skill tree? We have, haven't we? What about in here? Anything in here to buy? Just... oh, mail. Yeah, might as well. Get the extra 7% income. That'll add up quite a lot. What else can we look at doing? Cassel is fine. Koblenz is stalled. Not worried about that. Cologne's fine. Essen needs to be improved. And again, you can see here our demand for alcohol in the city is 2.8 units a week, 2.8 cartloads per week. We don't have enough hops coming in anyway, but we're producing less than the demand, so we need to expand this, and we need to get a lot more hops going into that area. I'm just looking to see where our hops are coming from. I've got a horrible feeling they're coming from all the way over here, which is not a good location. There's one all the way up there as well. There is a hops location here. I thought, are we not connected to that? No, we're not. Okay. We can feed into that quite easily then. We need a station first of all. Let's plonk one of those in. We're going to cut a tunnel through the hill, through the mountainside here. We're going to feed in at this point here. Let's see if we can perhaps tweak our tunnel ever so slightly. There we go. And that's all fine. Let's go with that. Put in our passing line. Our second track. Cut that through. Get some signals on here. Whiz back over to here. A little bit of space from the actual junction ourselves so we don't get trains blocking each other. It may still potentially happen, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Let's get a supply tower on this run as well, because it's a very long run end to end. Let's put one here. That'll do. And let's get some hops trains running into Castle. I could have actually come directly into the second station here, couldn't I? Never mind. I'm going to put 3 trains on that. They'll start to space themselves out as they travel through this junction and then get into sort of sequence with the rest of the trains on the line. A temporary block there as lots of trains are all trying to flood into this station here. They're all waiting on a platform to free up. This is because I think we've got a couple of trains in for maintenance, I think. A lot of trains. Very, very busy line. Look at that. That's absolutely insane. And some of the traffic starts to move away. It opens up platforms, or opens up the opportunity for other trains to move a little bit. Looks like this train is obviously wanting to head off this way. Can't, because there's still this one in the way. This is just in its queue, waiting to be signalled into the station. This could take a little while. There goes that one into a platform. But, you know, that wouldn't be turning off there, would it? I'd still wait to go straight on. Maybe it's a train's waiting to go this way. Timmerman Farm. How about Colo? Nordman? Yeah, see, that one there is waiting to go across. It's waiting for that train to clear. There it goes. That one clears. It frees that one up, which then frees up everything behind it. And that should start opening movement back up over there again. That would have been a nightmare to sort out without those auto-routing signal stations that we have now. Back in the old days, before those stations existed, that would have been a real mess. Luckily, they do now, hopefully, usually, not always, but usually, those sort of train conflicts tend to sort themselves out if you just leave them for a little bit. Brandenburg is at 80%, or 80,000 and 55%. Just stalling again. They need beer, fruits, dairy, candies, a few other products. Let's see if we can find some stuff to pump into there. So here's beer. We get a museum in here as well. So Magdeburg needs hops. Now where's the hops coming from Magdeburg? Ah, there. So the hops are coming from there. So we need more hops trains by the look of it. Yeah, we've got 2 trains running in there, and they're splitting between grain and hops. So let's get in a hop-specific train, and we'll get 2 of those running, because we're going to increase how much beer is being produced again, so that we can export that to other cities and not just fulfill the demand for the city only, but also ship it out to Brandenburg and to Berlin, get those cities growing a little bit. So let's check our brewery. It's already at a pretty high rate of production, 4.8 per week. We just need the hops, so we've got that sorted. Our chairs are not being shipped out. Okay, so I need to find out what's the production demand for chairs. 105,500 citizens. Well, we have that over here. More than that over here. So, let's ship chairs over to this warehouse. Add chairs in as a commodity over here. Let's increase... Where am I? I'm on the wrong city. It's Brandenburg. There we go. Magdeburg. And you can see we're getting some growth in the city again now. Let's expand the industry so we can produce chairs at a faster rate. There we go. That'll promote activity in Magdeburg again, as we've now got a lot more available space in the factory itself for the chairs. And we'll start shipping those chairs over to the warehouse. In fact, I'm actually going to put a block on transporting beer, so we don't take it away from this region. There are other cities in other regions that can deal with the beer demands over there. So there we go. We'll get this train running. We'll speed time up just a moment. Get that to pull away a little bit. Still waiting for clearance. There we go. Oh, the city has grown. And we're going to let this train pull away a little bit. And we're going to clone it. And we'll do the same again in a moment. I saw another city grow. Not sure which one it was. Might be Worms, perhaps. I'm just going to go ahead and clone that train again now. No, it's not Worms. Scroll through all of our cities and just have a look. Brunswick is at just 7,000 people. Okay, Brunswick is not healthy. Karlsruhe. How's Karlsruhe getting on? They've got the beer. It's just not being created fast enough. We'll expand that industry. What about the bakery? No, bakery's okay. We'll leave that as is. Castle is fine. I'm not getting the potatoes in anymore. So we need to look at getting more potatoes into Karlsruhe. No, not Karlsruhe, Castle. Right, now we have potatoes on their way into this station over here, I'm guessing. Potatoes, potatoes. Is it just the 2 potato trains? No, it's 3. Another one's there, waiting to be freed up. This is the problem sometimes when you have maintenance stations on very busy stations. When you have a maintenance shed there, is they slow down how quickly trains are being processed in and out of the station. They're stopping to be worked on at that location. So we have, as you can see, a maintenance shed there that should hopefully try and spread that maintenance load a little bit. But what is this waiting for? For Varus Mine to Castle Fort. Oh, that's this one here. Okay, so we must have a signal problem somewhere. Ah, there is the problem. There's no signals here. Don't know why. So you've just got this long stretch here, all the way through here, with no signals. And we must have rebuilt that bit of track and then forgot to put the signals back in. So let's put those in. And that will immediately free up movement on the trains, because they're not waiting for a train to clear this entire stretch of track. Why is the other line not activated? Because of that there. Let's just plonk that on there. There we go. So, Varus Mine to Castle 4 comes in. Now we should start to see these trains springing into action. We are doing. So it's not that we weren't getting enough potatoes delivered in because there was a shortage of potatoes. It's simply because those signals were creating a logjam where they were having long pauses waiting for a train to get through that section. You can see here we've got trains running through here, and we've still got stuff moving in and out of here now. So those lack of signals, and more importantly, the lack of a directional signal forcing traffic to take this route here when coming out of the station was what caused that issue there. So that's sorted. Potatoes coming into Castle, no problem there. The distillery is producing 1.6 units per week. I don't think that's going to be enough. It is barely. See, there's a 1.4 unit demand, and we're only producing 1.6 per week. Assuming that we have plenty of supplies, and we're actually pretty low on fruit in this area, so we need another fruit train by the look of it. We have 3, but as you can see, these trains are not full because fruit is being shipped out elsewhere as well. So we need to... Oh, look at... Yeah, it's only producing at level 1. We definitely need to upgrade this. We're going to upgrade that twice. There we go. Because we're shipping fruit out to Frankfurt as well, and potentially even to Worms. Where's Frankfurt for this population? 113. Yeah, they need that fruit. If you scroll down... They've only got 0.5 units available. It's just not enough. So definitely need to sort that out. We need to put in another station here as well. Frankfurt is just being overrun at the moment with trains. So let's try and improve our traffic flow through here. Let's put in another large station. I'm going to put in a terminal station if it will fit. There we go. It will. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and redirect some of this traffic. So let's just go here. And let's try and swing some of this traffic over. So it uses this station here, like this. We'll put a supply tower. I don't really want it in the same spot. That would be a bit messy. Ideally, I suppose we could look at moving that one. There isn't really much space to move it to anymore, is there? No, let's plonk that. Traffic's going to get blocked anyway, so let's just plonk that there. Let's get our signals in. There we go. So now we need to try and find some of this traffic to move across. So this is Nordham Estate. This is our potato train. Now this is perfect. We're going to change out... Oh, that's going to Worms. Okay, so we need to leave that one alone. But we're going to have one that's going to go to Frankfurt, I think. Yeah. There it is. That one's going to Frankfurt. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this line down to here. Like this. Again, we'll put our signals in. And we'll put a supply tower on this bit here as well. Okay. Right, so our Nordman to Frankfurt 1, we're going to change to Frankfurt 2. That'll automatically reroute that train into its new location. We're going to try and take some more of this traffic away. So we've got Frankfurt to Kassel. So we're going to change Frankfurt 1 to Frankfurt 2. Try and take a little bit of that traffic off the approach to the station, where we've got, you know, these trains coming in this way, and we've got these trains getting stacked up. These trains here as well, we're going to route those into Frankfurt 2 as well. So let's see if we can find the rest of them. Actually, is that the only one that's going in? It is. That's the only one. Let's clone that. Again, that's going into this new platform over here. We will put a maintenance shed on this one. If I can get it selected, there we go. Halbach Hollow to Worms, it's got to go through. Actually, Halbach Hollow. Okay, so this is the really complex train that we've got looped over here. And that was done to deliver grain into Kassel and then run meat on the way back. We're actually just going to get rid of this train completely, because we can run grain from here. And we are running grain from here, so that connection is no longer necessary. That takes a train off the line that is just a bit of an unnecessary run. That one's running through to Worms. We can get that routed onto this as well. So if we get rid of Worms 1, we can route that into Worms 2 now. We've got a waypoint we need to get rid of. And there we go. So it's going to mess up this particular train here. It's stripped away the cargo and it's left an empty train on the line that's then got to try and find its way where it needs to go. So to get around that, I'm going to clone the train. There we go. That puts it back, well, a new train in its place, and then we're going to get rid of the original one. There we go. So there's our new replacement train. Let's put those staff back on here. So we want a good engineer and a security guard as well for the extra income. What do we like for potatoes over here? Over plenty. So we don't need to increase the supply. Okay, that's good. What else do we need to look at for Worms? Nothing. Worms is still growing, and it's way over the 120 that we need. Frankfurt's struggling. Still needs that grain. We can see we've got 1, 2, 3 trains running from Halbach Hollow into Frankfurt. There's a 7.8 units or cartload of grain demand, so a full train is being eaten up just on grain, and that's before we even get to alcohol. So it's no wonder that we're running out. We're going to need another one of those trains. This again is another reason why I was trying to limit some of the traffic on the line. We've got our Kassel to Frankfurt. This is just a passenger train, isn't it? Managed train, rail line. Yeah, let's get rid of these trains, these passenger trains. We no longer need these, and all they're doing is clogging up our lines. So these passenger trains, we're going to get rid of these. Might leave 1 or 2 running, but those 2 there, we're going to get rid of those. That takes out some of the traffic heading along this route, but more importantly, cuts out some of the traffic running through this station here. So it should move some of these trains through a little bit faster. Get more product into Frankfurt faster. We have some leftover points to use. We could make the stuff more valuable. Let's accelerate train maintenance. That's going to be a big one for us. Speed up how quickly these trains are being fixed, so they're not sitting here for ages and ages and ages. There we go. Look at that. We've got a much clearer station now. Unfortunately, we've got a broken down train here which is holding everything up, but as soon as that's fixed, that should sort itself out. So, let's take another tour of our cities, see where we are. Cottbus now up to 160,000, give or take. You can see our brewery still not getting the hops in enough. Where were the hops coming from for this brewery? They're over here. Are they going to the warehouse? Or are they actually going straight to Cottbus? They are going. They're being held up by a broken down train over there. What's our production rate like over here? See, it's full. It's taking too long for the trains to get back. So let's add in an extra couple of trains. There we go. It's a very long run, as you can see. So it's taking too long between deliveries. We need more dairy, I think. Yes, we're still having peaks and troughs with our dairy. You can see that we have dairy trains coming in by the look of it. There's one there. Another one there. Are we producing dairy at a fast enough rate over here at Kraus Quarry? Oh, more than enough, yeah. So, how many trains do we have running on this line at the moment? 3. Yeah, we need more. I'm going to add in 2 more trains. There we go. And look at that, we're up to 48 million. We've gained 26, 27 million since the start of this episode. That's how fast our economy is working for us at the moment. Brandenburg now has a space for a 3rd business. So, let's take a look around, see what we've got. What we can put in there that we can easily support and we can export to nearby cities in terms of goods. We do have some beets there, so maybe we could go with a candy factory. We don't have candies in Berlin, we don't have candies in Brandenburg, obviously. We don't have candies over here in Magdeburg. We don't have candies anywhere nearby. And even if we make the long run all the way over here to Cottbus, we don't have candies there either. So I think candies is the perfect one for us to plonk in there. Just looking to see if we've got fruit nearby. That's the other component. We've got fruit up there. It's not necessarily nearby, but it's not horrendously far away. And we can ship in as a straight route like that. So yeah, let's put a candy factory in. In fact, actually, before we do that, yeah, we have a demand for candies in this city. Let's just go to a low city and see what the population demand is for candies. From 74,000. Berlin, I think, is already at that point. Berlin's at 87,000. Magdeburg, 78. So yeah, that's perfect. It's the perfect industry because we can ship that out in all directions. So candy factory just there, and we're going to immediately upgrade that. Go to level 3, and now we need to make sure that we have plenty of products being shipped in. So we have from the warehouse just the 1 train running in, so we need to increase that. I'm going to drop 2 more trains on that line. How many grain trains do we have coming in? 3, that's fine. Now we need to build this route here. So station first. Do we have a wood source nearby that we can add that to? It's a warehouse there, isn't it? We could theoretically connect out to the warehouse, but we're not going to. We're just going to run directly into Brandenburg. We've got wood over there, so we don't really need that wood source at the moment. But just in case, again, because money is not an issue for us, we're going to tap into it with a larger station so we can pick up both products at the same time should we need to. Who knows, that might take a bit of the pressure off the other wood station as well. And we'll come in just here. Angle our line away so we don't get rid of those signals. If ever you see me do that and wonder what it was I'm doing, it's making sure that we don't inadvertently remove those signals when the track gets placed, just so it's one less set of signals that we have to then reposition. And then it gives us a place for us to kind of line our signals up a bit as well, as you can see. There we go. Up to this end, let's put in crossover. And oops, there we go. Space those out. Let's get some fruit trains running. Slowdown's really starting to struggle a little bit now. I want to prioritise fruit over wood. Oh dear, a little bit chesty today. Let's get a train on that route. I'm going to buy out this business. Get it now while it's dirt cheap. Again, money's not an object, but there's no point throwing away money for no reason. There we go. And we're going to upgrade that. Clone that train, and then we're going to let time whiz forward a little bit. There we go, and these are leaving from platform 2. So what I'm going to do now, slow time down again, is I'm going to just put in a standard train, no specialisation, and get that to run from platform 1, so that it can potentially load at the same time if it gets there. There's no queue to get in there, and this will probably help to take wood as and when it's required, and if there's a drop off in the amount of fruit being produced as well. So let's clone that one again. Let's see what the second train picks up. Second train again picking up fruit. There's no demand for wood at the moment. We're meeting our wood demands, it would seem. Yeah, 14.6 units of wood, so plenty of wood being shipped in there at the moment. We're just waiting on the candy. Oh, sorry, on the fruit and the candy. Are we getting an increase in sugar beets? That's pigs. That's not the right train. So empty, empty. Dropping off beets. Okay, so that business is looking pretty good. Let's see what we get from a spy, considering we've pretty much unlocked everything. Ooh, we've got an analyst. Okay, so I always thought, and I've only really kind of recently picked up on this, I always thought the analyst was slightly broken. Because I would hire an analyst, and then I would go and check out the share price of my opponent, and I would see the price just go up and up and up and up, and I thought, this is broken. I never checked the share price before buying the analyst. And the second you buy the analyst, it basically halves the price of the shares. So you can see there, his shares are 124.5, 125,000 each. We use that analyst, that slices that in half, means we can effectively buy his company for half the value. So to end this particular episode, we are going to put him out of business in one fell swoop, thanks to that analyst. We need to buy his territory. That's 6 million. We might not even need the analyst, but we'll hire it anyway just to be on the safe side. And we want Hunts's price to be decreased. And if we now go and try and buy him out, you can see his share price, 64,500. There we go. We can buy him out for 12.7 million, whereas it would have cost us over 25 million. That's quite a saving, isn't it?
A coup just to my liking.
Bought him out.
It was about time that all those squabbling little railway companies were finally merged. Where would we be if everyone simply did what they liked?
One day you'll turn around and I'll be right behind you.
I probably should have actually looked at his cities to see what their population levels were. And whether or not there was anything we could keep. We've got some cities that are at okay growth, but the way that the AI puts their networks together, they always have multiple tracks and then they all converge on a single point, so you have to do mass reconstruction. I just didn't have the energy to mess around with that. You can see there, 62,000 I think is the highest population of any of his cities. It's a long way off, it's half what we need. The absolute best. A lot of our other cities are already well on the way to being able to fulfill those demands, both in terms of just being better supported in terms of the products going in there, and better connected as well to enable goods to be flow through those cities. So where was that one I was on a second ago? Frankfurt's still struggling to get products in. We need more hops to get into Frankfurt. Yeah, there's a complete drop-off on there, isn't there? So hops are coming from Schmidt Breeding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 trains. They're just getting log jammed over here. And this is because they're being filtered into a single track and then being filtered into here. So it's taking longer for those trains to get filtered onto this line here. So now that we've taken out our passenger trains, we've only got 3 of those left. We're actually going to get rid of that set of trains completely. No longer want or need those passenger trains. They're just getting in the way. So now that we've got rid of those, we've got this empty bit of track here. Just going to remove it completely. Nothing using it. Which means, with a little bit of clever deleting, this is going to reset this train. But that's fine. Let's take that out here. And do the same here. We can now rebuild these tracks like this. That'll speed up traffic flowing on these rails, because now there's 2 lines going straight into the station as opposed to 1, which then splits into 2, leaving that empty connection in the middle from the old track that we've just deleted. We'll do the same over here. That'll have the same effect. Take those out. Bring those in here. Like so. Let's just re-signal those newer pieces of track. There we go. And that should dramatically improve how fast we can turn trains around here in Frankfurt. On this side, our freight can all ship out on this dedicated freight line over here, rather than having to kind of share it with just a single focal point at each end. See over there, we're okay over here. In some respects, we've got to do the same over here as well. If you look, if we get right down to it, same on this side. We've got 2 lines merging into 1 line, which is then queuing up and then waiting to go into our switching over here. Same here, we've got 2 lines merging into 1 line to then go into the station, and we've got 2 dead tracks in the middle now that just they're not needed anymore. So I just deleted that out. I should have left it in there. What we're going to do over here, I've still got that little bit of spacer track there between our previous lines. So I'm going to take the track out here and here. This is now going to connect up to there. And same again just here. And I've done it inside a signal gap, so I don't have to worry about sorting out signals. That can come off now. I'll have to change the signals over here, but that's okay. We need to do the same just here as well. So we're inside a signal gap, so hopefully it won't disrupt that train behind us. Nope, it's going to. Because it's already reached that signal. That must be about to open. Yeah, that signal's open. So that's why it's affecting that train. That signal had been closed. If we caught that quickly enough, that train could have stayed there. So we'll bring that to there. Bring that around to there. Let's remove that. And let's recheck our signals over here. There, you can see this signal is in the wrong direction. There we go. Signals sorted. In fact, actually, these can be repositioned. right to the end over here. And then we can potentially get a train stacked up inside there as well. So again, that'll speed up traffic coming in on this side of Worms as well, although that wasn't really an issue. It just made sense to fix it over there as soon as we fixed it on this side. And that's where we are going to end it today. We're out of time again, but we have put our opponent out of business. Now we just need to focus on getting those last cities up to 120,000. And hopefully some of these changes that we made will get those cities that are kind of just lingering just below that target a little bit of extra impetus and get them over the hump. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I'm Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more Railway Empire Patchwork scenario for the Germany DLC very soon.